Hello, and welcome to Stage, Screen, and In Between. I'm Helen. How royal do I feel today? I am at A Queen for a Day at the St. Clement's Theater in Manhattan, and I am with the writer of this fabulous play, Michael Ricigliano Jr. Michael, the play was phenomenal. I loved it. Second time I'm seeing it, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah. Now, I also saw your work in Lilies of the Feast at the Long Island International Film Expo, and I know you won awards there, the short, and you just finished a full-length feature, am I correct?
Yep, we won the Best Short at the Long Island Film Festival a few years back, and we just finished the feature-length version of that last summer in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
So now let me ask you, A Queen for a Day is so riveting. How long did it take you to write this?
It probably took me start to finish about a month and a half. But from then you keep revising and revising. And we had done readings and you'd go through it and then you're cutting and you're adding. So, you know, it's kind of a process over, you know, a couple of years, but the bones of it took me maybe a month to 45 days.
You seem to like to write with the mafia theme line. Does that have anything to do with you being born in Brooklyn? Are you from Brooklyn originally?
I was born on the island. My father is originally from Brooklyn. It's not so much that the mafia theme. It just so happened that I wrote Lily of the Feast and A Queen for a Day at the same time, and there are a lot of themes that kind of interchange or intersect, like the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel in both stories. But the next play I have coming on is called Phelan House, and that's about an Irish bed and breakfast coming up that takes place in 1979.
Is it a comedy or is it serious, dramatic?
It's a drama. Yeah, it's about in 1979. 1980, the Catskills really were declining, and this is about that's David Proval, who just sat next to me. Yes. He's a star of our show.
So he's allowed.
He's allowed to come and ruin the interview by stepping. It's okay.
He couldn't ruin anything. Anybody that can memorize all those lines is all right by me.
So that's what the next one is about, and yeah. So it's it just so happened that these two I wrote at the same time, so there are a lot of intersecting themes.
You know, as you watch the play, you can't help but think and recall that organized crime is so much based on family value, love, and it leaves you with so many ups and downs. Like you're rooting for sometimes the bad guy because they have such a sense of loving the mother, loving the father, going to church, as is mentioned in the very beginning of the play. So do you find that a lot of people feel that way, that they kind of root for the bad guy?
Well, I think that, and David Proval has said it best, the wise guy that's portrayed in cinema is like the cowboy. He's a guy that doesn't play by the rules, that does what he wants to do, a very virile type of guy. And so people, I think, they like that type of character. That being said, this play is very different from that. It's really, it's a tragedy. It's a family tragedy. It's an Italian tragedy. And the themes, I don't think that we portray in the play itself are really specific to organized crime, because although there are oaths and codes, it's a lot about the Italian community that I know, which is very family based, very religious, and there's a lot of crossover on that side as well.
Yeah, because a big problem is to be Queen for a Day is to actually have a proffer agreement, and you're an attorney also, right? So that the person is allowed to almost confess and get away with it on this one day.
Right.
If they turn somebody else in.
Correct. It's a one-day immunity deal where what you say can't be held against you in future proceedings. But it doesn't mean that the government has to give you immunity or has to give you a plea deal. They just want to see what you have to say. But if they don't give you a plea deal or immunity, the problem is that the good thing is that they can't use what you say that day against you if they decide to take you to trial. But if you give them a lead, they can track down that lead and it can kind of find its way back to you.
So how great is it that you have Vincent Pastore, you have David Proval, you have Portia, and David Deblinger, Did I pronounce that right?
Deblinger.
Deblinger.
That's right.
Deblinger. I'm sure that people are very attracted to your work because you're getting to have a very good reputation right now. So that must be a great sense of pride for you to be able to have both. Be both a lawyer and a playwright. That's fantastic.
It's nice of you it's very kind of you to say that. You know, David Proval was the star of the film we did over the summer, which was last summer, Lily of the Feast. And when I told him about the play, he said, can I read it? And then he read it and said, I want to do it. And I said, oh, okay. You know, and then from there, David Deblinger, actually, the first reading we had, which was like 3 years ago, he was at the first reading, the second reading, the third reading, and kind of just went through every phase. So he was kind of the guy from the beginning. Portia is a Labyrinth Theater vet, and she just blew us away in the when she auditioned. And Vincent Pastore, you know.
Everybody loves Big Pussy, and everybody knows who he is, and we're all going to get to see everybody in a couple of seconds. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
If I walk, can they use what I say today?
Well, no. But if you walk, at the very least, you'll die in prison. I mean, is that where you want to meet your grandchild?
I won't justify against my brother.
He did what he had to do, and that's what it takes to be a boss, Giovanni. When the time comes, you need to protect your family.
Let me ask you a question. What she said about the trust fund for Gina and the kids, is that true?
Yes.
Thank you.
What do you want from me?
I want the peace of mind that I don't have to worry about my own brother the way I did about Otto.
Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare, Pasquale, compare me to that piece of shit. What Otto did to Mommy, Daddy had every right in the world to do what he did.
Yeah, and you would have done the same.
You're goddamn right I would.
Like the longshoreman.
Oh, but I was 26 years old, I had a wife and a kid on the way.
So
I was scared. You got me. I was scared.
yeah, well, I was scared too, but I did what I had to do.
Oh, yeah? Well, people get killed over having conversations, especially ones about that. Just ask Jimmy Lorenzo.
I don't even want to know who Jimmy Lorenzo is.
What? Who Jimmy Lorenzo was? Jimmy was a soldier under me. And after everything Pop Pat thought is too strong a word, he had an inkling Jimmy was talking on the fence. After they identified his body, you know what they found in his mouth?
I have with me now a very convincing attorney, Sanford Weiss, who is played by David Deblinger. And he's also, aren't you a founder of the Labyrinth Theater?
Yes, I am.
You have a great, great resume. You have so much theater, and you've been on HBO. You were on The Sopranos, weren't you?
Yes, I played a doctor and Dr. Katz, and I had to remove a little cyst from Tony's head.
Let me ask you, have you ever played a lawyer before?
Yes, I have. I did this movie with Joe Pantoliano some time back, and I had to play a real arrogant lawyer.
Yeah. Well, you were very convincing. Now, I have a question for you. When you are talking to David Proval and you're asking him, you're actually telling him, you have to make your decision right now. This is your chance or you're out. Has there any been a time in your life when you've come across that in a personal experience, like, if I don't do this now, my opportunity is lost? It's like now or never. I mean, did you use anything like that to bring that out in your character?
Yes. It's funny that you're getting into the inner workings of the actor stuff. Yeah, I did. The character is kind of at his wit's end because he's been a bad boy. And he's done some illegal stuff and has been contacted. So even though he's trying to get his client to give everything up to save himself.
That's right. He's saving his own neck.
So before the play, I often try to think about actually more imagination stuff. That what if my wife whatever, my child, I think of horrible things, and it gets me a little bit like, we've got to change, we got to make this happen, we got to make this happen beforehand, and I try to keep that going.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed that you have a lot of energy, because you're razzing them on, you have to talk, you're keeping that energy going. How do you do that when you're up there?
Just try to stay present, and I'm working with such amazing actors. I don't get to work with Vinny, unfortunately, but with David and Portia, so I'm just trying to stay present and take them in and try to get him to do what I want him to do, and which is really give her what she wants, like Michael was saying.
Yeah. Now, can I ask you, what is the best thing that you like about this play? What message did you take home after you're rehearsing and you're working with the actors? Is there anything that you said, wow, I never really thought of that? Anything that was eye-opening for you?
About the actual play? Yes. Well, just the whole specificity of this tough guy who falls in love and has all this, and like the way David plays it, just incredible vulnerability pouring out of him. And like you were saying about, even the people who are in this horrible thing, you still relate to them because they're human beings. Yes. And also the way he portrays that every night is just so moving.
And he has such a mixed emotion, he has the highs and the lows and the laughter, and you can really feel for the character. What would you do if you were in that situation? If you had to make a choice to save yourself or rat on your brother. Do you have a brother?
I do have a brother.
What would you do?
Save myself or rat on my brother? I like to think that I would not rat on my brother. And I do actually, I have a somewhat contentious relationship with my brother.
It depends on what day it is.
Depends on what day it is. Yeah, maybe that's true. But I like to think that I do love my brother, so that I wouldn't do that.
And he might be watching, so we just want your brother to know he would never tell on you.
Tell on you. No.
Look who I have with me now. Vincent Pastore from Soprano fame. Big pussy himself. And let me tell you what is so ironic about this play and the role that you played in The Sopranos, because I actually put it back on yesterday to try to refresh my memory. And you kind of started on season 2, you were flipping. You were the rat.
In season 1, but they didn't know I was
right. So you had come away, you went away, and you came back. And so now it's the opposite. You're the one that might be flipped on in this play, right? It's the reverse. You're the solid one.
Yeah, my brother's flipping on me. Right. Yeah, there's a flip-flop.
It's a flip-flop. Now, you've also you just did Woody Allen's play, and so you're a very solid actor. You go from the stage, you do television work, you do movies. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like staying home.
Don't we all? Especially when it's summertime, we're by the pool and we got a margarita.
Leaving my house now as I get older. Oh, do you? Yeah, I wish I could do all of this in my house.
You know what? You can. Maybe you could do a web series from your house.
Yeah, but I don't know how to use my computer. I really don't. Oh. Look at my cell phone. Look at this thing.
No, that is obsolete. Obsolete.
Yeah,
you've got. Don't be afraid to upgrade, because I'll tell you why. The newer phones are easier.
Well, my daughter works for Verizon. You'd think she'd give me a phone.
You would think. That's how kids are. Well, you should know, family,
Yeah, but I really love working on the stage, and I love working in this particular play. Probably the best theater work I've done in my career, because I'm working with 3 other wonderful actors, a wonderful director, and a great playwright. And it's really a joy to leave City Island, to get in a car, to come all the way down here, and to come to the theater, because once you're here, you're here. Yeah.
And you know what? You're a wonderful actor, but you're also a big guy. So when you come out here, you have a commanding presence. I mean, you're tall.
Oh.
And you have a very good build. You have nice broad shoulders.
David called me the other day before I went on stage.
Is this good or bad?
He called me a fat bastard. And he thought I didn't hear him.
That's an endearing term.
Come on stage and rip him apart.
That's an
You
endearing
should call me a fat
term.
bastard every afternoon, and this way I'll come out there and I'll knock him out of the ballpark.
You're husky. You are a husky man.
I know.
But you know, you come out and you have the wool coat. What do they call that?
coat.
The wool coat.
Right.
And you know, and you have a very commanding presence. And I'm so glad that you
Don't
have
give
that
away the
role.
ending, please.
I won't.
You know, somebody told me what happened with Jurassic World, the ending, and I won't go see that movie now. Please don't give away the ending of A Queen for a Day.
No, I'm not. And it's not only the ending, but in between there are twists and turns.
a lot of twists and
Very
turns. It's like being on a
interesting.
roller coaster
And
in Coney
I'm
Island.
not telling, and he's not gonna
I'm not
tell
telling
either.
nothing. I ain't ratting in this one. Okay, my time is up. I think we need Portia.
Thank you. My next actor is an actress, and she goes by one name. Her name is Portia. Portia, I'm very intrigued. Why do you use just one name?
Oh, it's not that deep. I really was that when I was growing up, no one ever said Portia who, and I was just known as Portia. And so I'm Portia.
That's terrific. There are very few people that can go by one name. We've got Cher and we've got Portia, and I can't really think of anybody else. But I want to tell you, you were
Madonna.
Madonna. Yeah, who else?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And
off the
me.
top of your- and you. That's what I'm saying. It's a very limited. But you had a very convincing role. You played a very convincing role as the FBI agent. Now, do you have any kind of police background at all?
No, none. Not on either side.
No. But you're a very established theater actress. What other work have you done?
I was in Ruined. I have done lots of lab plays, Our Lady of 121st Street. I recently did Fences out at the Long Wharf, directed by Felicia Rashad. Yeah.
That's a nice one.
And Cleveland Playhouse, I've been doing some regional theater as well, so it's good to be back on a New York stage.
So how does it feel to be the one that has to have David Proval answer to you? That's a pretty good spot to be in.
I love it. He loves it too. He may never admit it, but he loves it.
I can tell that you love it too.
I do. I like being a badass. People think that's how I am in real life, and it probably is true. It's probably true.
So it's not too much of a stretch for you. Now, let me ask you, how did you hook up with Michael Ricigliano?
Through our director, John Gould Rubin, who is also a Labyrinth theater company member, and he is our director. And he called me and asked me to give the play a read, and that was it. As soon as I read it, I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah, this is great. And I have to tell you, everybody is coming in to see this play. It is so good. They just started having matinees during the week. Am I right about that?
Yes, on Wednesdays.
And the word is out. It was almost a full house today. And I want to say, when you come to see this, A Queen for a Day, this is in a fabulous area of New York. There's wonderful restaurants from Italian, pizza places, diners. I didn't even know they had diners in Manhattan, and there's like two. So you know, when you come and you see the play, you grab a bite to eat, be it a matinee or evening, and it's a wonderful part of town. Isn't it fascinating here?
Great. You can. There's Birdland that around on 44th that is great jazz and music and great food. So there's anything that you want to do, you can do right here in the city.
Yeah. And they have some street parking, and they have garages, which if you're driving in, you want to know that.
Right. Indeed. So come visit us.
Thank you, Portia.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, look who I have here. David Proval. You are fabulous. You know, most actors, they get their script and they say, gee, how many lines you got? Oh, I got 16 lines. Oh, I only have 8. You must have got that script and said, Mamma mia, I'll never memorize all this. He's on the stage for an hour and a half. I mean, you're up there with that intermission, and you do a great job, because not only, forget about the lines. I'm saying that because I'm an actress. We talk about lines, and that's kind of an inside joke. but the range of emotion that you go through, are you drained at the end of the performance?
It varies. It depends on whatever's going on with my metabolism that day. Actually, it's all physiological. It has nothing to do with emotional. No, there are days that because I've been given this magnificent gift by Michael Ricigliano Jr. of it's an embarrassment of riches to be able to do a character like this on stage, and the one that he gave me in the movie Lily of the Feast. So
I saw the short film, so I can't wait. But I saw the short film, so it's the same kind of storyline, am I right? So I'm really looking forward to see the feature. Do they know when that's coming out?
Not right now, but what's happening is now it's going into some of the festivals, and it's taking the route that an independent film should take, and visiting all the film festivals. Hopefully, it'll be in some of the major film festivals. I think it's a piece of work that will cause that.
Yeah. So, you come out, you have comedic quality to you. You're worried. You're I don't care. I mean, you run the whole gamut. So it is kind of an actor's dream to be able to do this and to be in the heart of Manhattan with great actors. Can I ask you, when you were reading the script, did things hit home with you? Like at the beginning, it's like such a contradiction. Here you are, you're meeting with an FBI agent to possibly turn on your brother, and your wife calls. You didn't go to church. You talk about your children and about you got to help them out, and you have one that's good and one that's lazy. Can you identify with any of that at all?
Anybody who's lived a life of any of us. If you've had children, if you have family, if you have family, you can. This is a play that has a universality to it. It's an Italian-American tragedy, but anybody in the audience can say, "My God, I can understand what they're feeling about Mom, what they're feeling about what he's talking when I refer to his son that is home till he's 40." We all.
Yeah, it's relatable, and so you could tell that it was penned by somebody who's kind of done it all, heard it all, seen it all, and of course Michael is the writer and he's an attorney, so not only what he experiences, but everybody that comes into him. When people go into an attorney, it's almost like going into a priest. A lot of times they're confessing, I did this, I did that, don't say anything, So I had a question for you that I read, and I don't know if it's true, but when you come into The Sopranos in season 2, if I may go back, you had said that at that time in your life, what you were playing was kind of relatable to what you were going through in your life. It kind of correlated. I was watching it, and you took a glass coffee pot and hit the guy that owned the pizza place in the side of the head and then threw a chair at him. That didn't relate to your life, did it?
Huh?
Was that something you wanted to do? I went back and I watched it yesterday, unless they misquoted.
I'm funny about my chicken Parmesan sandwiches. I have a real problem with that. Yeah. If the Parmesan, if the cheese is too thick, I just blow it.
You know what? And if I get a soggy crust, I'm telling you, I'm going to clock them with more than a coffee pot,
so
I understand absolutely. I'm glad that you're being honest with me.
That's it. The chicken Parmesan it sent me into a tirade that I just had no control over. My pizza, my chicken Parmesan, I'm very fussy about.
So let me ask you, your peers, are they jealous of you? Let's face it, actors don't work all the time. But you seem to be doing, what you want a lot of the time. I mean, you're on a good a roll here and a streak. Does anybody, you get that? Can you help me out? Can you get me a job? Can you get me in? How do you handle that?
I've been lucky over the years. I'm a journeyman actor, by the way. I don't think...
Explain journeyman actor. I mean, you started from the ground up. You were in Mean Streets by Martin Scorsese, yes, as a young kid.
That was a blessing to be in a movie that was the coming out of an iconic director, iconic actor, and to be there was just lucky.
With Robert De Niro. No, you know what? You know what they say?
Okay.
Luck is when preparation and opportunity meet. So there really is no such thing as luck. If you weren't ready and you weren't right, you wouldn't have been in that. You're just being modest. Okay, there was a certain amount of luck. But let me ask you, if somebody wants to be in something that you do, and you can't get people, let's face it, it's not your production. You can't necessarily bring people in, and you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, you know? You want to keep them as a friend. How do you deal with that? What do you say to them?
I say what they know already. An actor's the low man on the totem pole when it comes to no, they usually are, unless you're what,
Leonardo DiCaprio. Love him.
Those people. Okay.
Hi, Leo.
Yeah, unless, well, I don't know what that means, but you can't. You know that's and
people don't understand that. So I'm just wondering, they'd probably, you're too high up. They don't even ask you. They ask me.
Director's the king. Director's the king, and
the writer's the king too.
Director, no, well, in theater, the writer's the king. In film, director's the king. And what you hope for is a dictatorship. You hope for a kindly dictator, so you can talk to him. Yeah. But it's a dictatorship. And if he feels beholden to you because you need to get an actor in, it's not the way to begin a relationship. Yeah. So you got to be careful of stuff like that. Queen for a day.
You can ruin your own thing by trying to Queen for a day.
Yeah, where are we?
We're at St. Clement's Theater.
Yeah,
on 46th Street between 9th and 10th Avenue.
Great places to eat.
There's great places to eat. It is so. This used to be Hell's Kitchen. I said, why would they call this Hell's Kitchen? It's like Heaven's Kitchen, right?
Exactly. What it's become is very chic and very kitschy and whatever the word is. And it's a cool neighborhood. The theater's in a cool spot. And I think we have a magnificent play with a magnificent cast. And to be on stage with these people, to be on stage with Vinny Pastore is another gift, with David Deblinger, who's doing an incredible piece of work, and Portia, who is knocking it out of the park every time I get on stage with her. She's phenomenal. And I have all this around me. I have a great play, a great playwright, and 3 great actors.
Well, good luck to all of you, and I know that you're going to pack them in because it is a really hot and cool play to see. A Queen for a Day.